Fourth and final story of the day is about something I don't like to talk about because I don't like to give promotion or airtime to brands and things that I don't really like. But this is in our face, so I want to talk about it maybe one or two more times and then leave it alone. So ISIS is also known as the Islamic State. They had control of regions in Iraq for a while. They had control of regions in Syria. They controlled major cities, and it's pretty amazing because with all of the world's support and the United States military, we have all this technology, we have an air force, we have a naval force, and ISIS is chopping off people's heads, and they don't even have an air force. And somehow, under the Obama administration, miraculously, they're gaining control. How do we have the biggest military budget by far, and we can't stop an army of psycho-Islamic people who are chopping everyone's heads off? Doesn't make sense to me. We were being lied to, sorry. The whole plot was just totally misrepresented, and we were aiding and abetting multiple sides of situations, and we caught ourselves in power vacuums, and it ended up awfully in Syria and Libya. It caused the destabilization of Syria, which caused the huge refugee crisis, which caused Europe to get taken advantage of, because they said, we got to help the refugees. And then Africans and Middle Easterns said, oh, look at these idiots. We'll just go there and pretend like we're from Syria. And that happened. And now Germany and France and UK and Sweden and pretty much everywhere, Finland I've even heard. I talked to someone from Finland. It's all going downhill because they took in a bunch of refugees who mostly weren't even really refugees. And the refugees that were refugees didn't need to be refugees if we didn't go into Syria. There wouldn't have been refugees. So we screwed it up. And now that the war has ended, and I had a conversation with Nuance, bro. It's on my podcast where I was explaining all the good things Trump did. And he was like, did he do that? Did he do that? And I was like, yeah, it's the things that, progressives and a lot of people, they don't want to give Trump credit for that he absolutely did. But it's okay, to each their own. He defunded $1 billion rebel program, so he cut all the funding and weaponry to the rebels, and then, from there, they ran out of steam, and all of a sudden ISIS is miraculously back against the wall and can't do anything. So Trump helped defeat ISIS, just like he said he was going to do. He said, I'm going to defeat ISIS. I'm telling you. Me personally, I don't believe that other politicians even wanted to do that. I don't think that was truly even their goal. They had bigger aspirations to get rid of Bashar al-Assad. I don't think they cared about getting rid of ISIS. So many leftists will say, oh, no, it's from Obama holdover. No, it's not. We have the biggest military. We have GPS. You think they couldn't get rid of people who were cutting people's heads off with, Aladdin knives? Give me a break. It must hurt to lie to yourself that much. And then they're like, no, it was happening anyway. No, it wasn't. They didn't even want to get rid of ISIS. They wanted to get rid of Bashar al-Assad like they got rid of Muammar Gaddafi, and it didn't work out. We've been in Afghanistan for how long? They weren't trying to do what Trump did. He totally reversed strategy. It totally worked, just like he said he did, because he wanted to do that. They were more concerned with proxy wars with Russia and Iran and everyone else, and it didn't work out. So he got rid of ISIS. Now that the war's over, there's a lot of criminals who worked with ISIS. And this is sickening to my friends in Syria who I've talked to. ISIS is very, very destructive and I would consider evil. Chopping people's heads off, using people as human shields. They are the radical Islamic terrorists that a lot of conservatives think everybody is. Though that was ISIS. I don't think all Muslims act that way. But ISIS did act that way. And to the point where they even killed a lot of Muslims. They killed a lot of Christians. I'm just guessing they weren't huge fans of Jews, but I don't know. I'm sure they weren't. But they were killing secular people, Druze, pretty much anyone that wasn't, who they wanted them to be, according to my understanding, but you could look into it. These are really bad people with a really dangerous ideology, confirmed dangerous, not ooh, maybe they're Muslim and they feel that way, which is valid to think, but we know for sure that these people are extreme radical Islamicists, so you don't want them in your country. What's really annoying me is Twitter and liberal media is giving them really puffy press, and I'm going to explain branding-wise what they're doing. It's very evil. ISIS. Everyone knows the word ISIS. That brand has been jammed down our throats with the Obama administration. All they talked about, North Korea, ISIS, North Korea, ISIS, North Korea, ISIS, North Korea, ISIS. So Trump gets in, stops the North Korea thing, stops ISIS. They don't talk about them anymore because those were two evil big brands, North Korea and ISIS, that Trump totally solved for the most part. Now they brand it as IS. It's a softer version because the big evil brand was defeated, and now they're actually telling you like, oh no, we want these people to come back to the country. To be honest, a lot of them are probably fighters for an army that they were funding. So it's like their people. A lot of these politicians, I don't know how pro or anti-ISIS they really were. A lot of them, to me, seem like they supported them inadvertently or directly, but that's a whole side story that people don't want to talk about. They're not branding them ISIS anymore because everyone knows it as the evil brand. So when you see it in the media mostly now, you'll see IS, Islamic State. They're softballing it because they're trying to sell you ISIS. Literally. This is how bad the media is. Alyssa Milano says, could they have done this? They're selling you ISIS. Literally. She's pregnant. She just wants to come home even though she left the United States to fight for ISIS. Well, guess what? You're banned forever from the United States, or you should go to jail. Fighting with ISIS is not a small thing. The things that ISIS did are war crimes to the highest extent. And honestly, I'm okay with looking at U.S. politicians who started war crimes, because I'm of the mind, I think there are U.S. politicians and leaders who have committed war crimes as well who should stand on trial. But ISIS members being able to come back to Europe and the United States and liberal media basically lobbying for them, if they really think about all the bad press that Trump gets. Like when you read a Trump piece in New York Times, Washington Post, Twitter, you name it, it's never positive. It's never even shared in a light that can make you think for yourself. The entire article is bad, think this way, think this way, think this way, bad. Everybody who thinks this way is bad. They don't even give you a second to breathe in a Trump article. Like, maybe I can make my own decision whether this is bad or good. It's all propaganda against Trump. With ISIS, do you see the same with ISIS? Do you see it? It's ISIS. These people chop people's heads off. They murdered innocent people. They started a war that led to a displacement of millions of people. They've enslaved people, put them on trucks and put them in cages. No, they're giving ISIS good press. Better press than Trump, better press than conservatives, better press than Howard Schultz, better press than Tulsi Gabbard, better press than Bernie Sanders got in 2016. ISIS. It's because the media basically supported the wars that ISIS was directly or indirectly gaining access to and gaining support and gaining power from. So when people said CNN is ISIS, that was a big hashtag that was going around. Some people would say, oh, that's a huge threat or that's a huge exaggeration. You could say that, but I'm not sure that I believe that's as big of an exaggeration as people realize in the long run, because they're now giving ISIS, the mainstream media is giving ISIS puff pieces and better press than Trump or his supporters could ever get. She's pregnant. It's just IS. It's just the Islamic State. It's just IS. Why don't you call it ISIS? Because ISIS has already been branded as evil, but IS sounds harmless. She just fought in the war for IS, and she wants to have a baby and live in this country. Don't you want her here? Fuck no. Excuse my language. No. No, I don't want her here. Absolutely not. No. I'll take no for 5,000, Alex. No, I don't want her here. I don't want her baby here. I don't want her husband here. I don't want anybody from the Islamic State near here. And just the fact that they're softballing Islamic State just shows you what their true agenda is when they make fun of the Muslim ban, which is not a Muslim ban, has nothing to do with Indonesia, has nothing to do with India, has nothing to do with the biggest Muslim countries. It's not a Muslim ban. It never was. That's another media hoax. The whole media is a lie. The whole media is lobbying for people like the Islamic State to come to America. They're showing their true colors. I want to tear down the wall. I don't want the wall there. I don't want this. I don't want that. Trump's bad. No, you want literal terrorists to come to this country. And that's not an exaggeration or a stretch. You're admitting it in your articles. Oh no, we're not. We don't want them to come. We're just giving them way better press than Trump has ever got. We're giving them way better press than conservatives have ever got. We're giving them way better press than Tulsi Gabbard's ever got. We're giving them way better press than Bernie Sanders ever got. We're giving them way better press than Howard Schultz ever got. You're giving them better press than Democrats, Republicans, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Tulsi Gabbard's Hindus. You claim that everybody's racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, xenophobic, anti-Islam, but you guys are the ones that are giving better press to ISIS than you are to Christians and Jews and Hindus. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is who they are, and I don't want them to be that. I'm not saying this like, oh, I'm mad. I don't want you to be this bad. That's why I say the media is the most racist entity. They're borderline, along with these politicians who want to tear the border fence down. It's borderline terroristic. They're promoting literal terrorist organizations. I'm not talking about people who might be in terrorist organizations, which, yes, it is a real threat. People are leaving the U.S. and Britain to join ISIS. You think that people aren't leaving India and Pakistan and Iran? Those are IS safe havens, because it is radical Islamic terror. It's extreme following of certain parts of text that it is. There's a reason when they murder people that they scream the name of their God. It's not that I'm not going to say like other conservatives lie about, not to be mean, but it's true. They say anytime Allah Akbar said, anytime Ilhan Omar, anyone says it, that's terrorism, that's proof. No, that's wrong. Allah Akbar means God is great. It means God is good. Allah Akbar does not mean I'm going to commit a terrorist attack. So conservatives are lying about that. But, so if she says that or other people say that, it doesn't mean that they're committing a terror attack. They might just think God is great. But where liberals are wrong is they don't think there's a correlation between the religion and the terrorists. They say, no, it has nothing to do. No. Almost every time they commit a terrorist attack, they say, Allah Akbar, God is good, which is showing you that it is radical Islamic terror. So, no, not everyone who loves God in the Muslim religion will commit a terror attack, but that is a correlation of people committing terror attacks and saying it's for their God. So there is a link between the religion and the terror attacks. That's totally true. Liberals can't handle that part of it. Conservatives can't handle the other part. What's more dangerous? Probably what liberals are doing, although they always claim virtue and say, we're so much better. You're really not. You're honestly weak and foolish and naive and hateful and racist and sexist and xenophobic, and you only bend over backwards for the world's worst people. All of a sudden, you're pro-Islam when it comes to ISIS, but you can't like a Christian who wants to protect his country with the First and Second Amendment. It's like you claim that you love black people so much, but you stay silent about Chicago, you stay silent about Libya, you stay silent about pretty much every country in Africa, you stay silent about the truth of America, and you viciously hate black conservatives and libertarians and free thinkers like Kanye West, who doesn't even care about politics, who just wants to be slightly honest sometimes. So are you really pro-black? If you hate Kanye so much for telling the truth, if you hate Candace Owens and conservatives all the time, or not just her, but anybody who literally supports the president and doesn't want to buy into the victim mentality, if you ignore Libya and you don't even pay attention to what's going on in Africa, are you really pro-black? Because I don't think you're pro-black. I think you're using black people to push your agenda of foolishness and weakness and breakup of the family and destruction of the mind. I think you're very anti-black, Mr. and Mrs. Liberal. Mainstream media, I think you hate black people and you just pretend you like them. Or you just lie about it and lie to yourself. I don't know. But I find it very anti-black. I find it very anti-America. I find it very terroristic that you're going to give better press to ISIS than you would ever give to a black conservative or a Hispanic conservative or, God forbid, a white conservative. Oh no, she has blonde hair and she's white and she's not stupid. Oh no. Oh no, she loves the country she's born in because she understands she has more freedom than she'd have anywhere else. Oh no. God forbid she's what 60 to 75% of the country is. Oh no. We're at a turning point. That's why with the last story, I'm not going to prioritize going around the Middle East, asking them to treat gay people better. Focus on ourselves, because we have a lot of problems, including our own media giving terrorist organizations better press than they give taxpayer citizens. You can't make this stuff up, folks. It's pretty wild, but overall, it's a beautiful time to be alive. Don't stress, don't fear. Fear is the enemy. Stress is obviously the enemy to your body, your mind, and your soul. And this is the greatest time ever to be alive. we're winning the culture war somewhat. We're at least integrating truth. We're winning the information war as far as wisdom and knowledge and truth is setting through. This Jussie Smollett situation is one of the biggest media hoaxes that actually got saw by everybody, because usually the hoax disappears. This one got bigger and bigger and bigger, and people are waking up. So you don't have to worry, you don't have to fear. Stay blessed, stay grateful, stay stay happy. Enjoy your day. I know it's some tough stuff we talk about here, but I don't want you to be angry or fear. I believe in what the Buddha preached, as well as I'm sure many others, is, being angry is like drinking poison and expecting your enemy to die. Hate never looks good. If you don't like somebody, whether it be Cortez or Ilhan Omar, lead with love and lead with, you don't have to love them to the utmost extent, but lead with truth. Because if you start lying and hating, you start to not look good. With Ilhan Omar, you wanna point out the true things that she's doing and really be sure about why it's wrong. Because if you lie about her, or you lie about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which I find a lot of conservatives doing, but then they say to me, but anomaly, she's really bad in other ways. Well, point to those other ways, because if you use the wrong thing, what you're doing is you're making them more popular. You're giving them a victim card. Now they can use where you lied about them and say, look where they're lying about me. Now they have a victim card to hide behind, so you're actually not helping. You think you're helping, but you're hurting. So that's why it's very important. You can't lead with anger. You can't lead with hate. You can't lead with fear. You can't lead with emotional negativity and justify it and say, well, they're really bad, so even though I'm lying, it makes it okay. It doesn't make it okay. That's what liberals are doing to Donald Trump. They're leading with emotions and hate, and they're lying, but they think it's okay because they've made Trump into this Disney villain, and they think he's so horrible that any lie that they do, whether it's literally a hoax to just lying on social media, is okay because it's for the greater good. It's not true. If you can't show love to Donald Trump, if you can't expose Donald Trump, if you can't love Ilhan Omar or dislike Ilhan Omar with truth and authentic information, then it's not worth it. And there's enough out there. So let's not cloud our vision, and let's not get hateful and fearful and angry, because I truly do believe that it is the enemy and the enemy's tool. And when you do that stuff, you actually aid and abet the person you're trying to stop. It's why Trump is so powerful. It's why his approval rating's up. It's why he's crushing with Hispanics now. It's why we have a revolution in this country. It's not just because of Donald Trump. He's a catalyst. It's because of how they're acting, and they're fueling our movement with hate, fear, and lies. This Jussie Smollett hoax is one of the biggest things to ever happen for conservatives in modern media history. It's very important historically. They're on the wrong side of history for this one. And it's bigger than they think. So that lie didn't help them because Trump's bad. That lie helped us. And that's how it goes when we lie about other people, or when we lead with fear and hate. We're actually helping them. And when we think that, I'm going to wrap it up in a second, but when we think that just because we don't like somebody, that everything they says is false and bad and hateful and bigoted, it's just not true. If Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says 10 things, and 7 of them are false, and 3 of them are right, if you pick the 3 things that are totally right and funny and relatable and accurate, and you start promoting them and hating them and saying how stupid it is, you're not hurting her. You're not impressing anybody except for people that are as hateful and as dishonest as you. You're not converting anybody. You're not it's not effective. Ignore those 3 things. Promote them if you think they're right and say, look, she's actually right. Or focus on the things she's doing wrong and really hammer home why it's wrong in a convincing and compelling way that shows people that it is wrong with stats or facts, or, a compelling argument that's relatable. Don't do what everyone's doing. And people I really like and respect, they're taking the 3 times she's right, making fun of it, promoting her, making her look good, lying about her, doing something stupid, giving her a victim card or a fake news thing to hide behind, and then they act like, no, we're crushing her. It's like, dude, it's not a good strategy. It's not helpful. So hate, anger, and negativity, no matter how crazy stuff gets, it's never going to work in our advantage. And I really just wanted to say that, because when I talk about Ilhan Omar or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Louis Farrakhan or others that are controversial figures that I talk about, I'm not promoting everything they're saying. I'm not saying that their agenda is great. I'm not saying I agree with, honestly, all 3 of them. Their overarching theme I don't line up with. What I'm saying is, though, you're gonna end up lying to yourself if you don't pick out certain wisdom and you just throw blanket statements and you just hate and say bigot, racist, liar, terrible, horrible, this, that, the other, and then you murky the waters to like where you almost have derangement syndrome, where it's like, if Ilhan Omar says I like water and I like water, I can't say that I don't just because I don't like it doesn't actually make sense. And that's a fringe example, but that's what I feel like people are doing with Farrakhan, Ilhan Omar, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They'll say something that's so obviously true that if Trump said it, you would agree with it, or if I said it, you'd be like, no, you're right. But if they say it, it's like, no, it's bad. And it's like, I'm saying this not because I'm trying to boost them up or be a PR team for them. I'm saying this to help you. I'm saying this to help us. I'm saying this to help this country, because when you lie about them and lead with hate and bigot, racist, xenophobic, it doesn't look good, and it actually gives them a victim card, and it gives them extra power. Someone said, I wish this had super chat. It's all good. YouTube has super chat, and if you want, I have my PayPal, my donor box on my Patreon if you'd like to support that way. Honestly, PayPal's probably better than super chat because YouTube is communist. They take 30%. I'm just kidding. They're not communist, but kind of. They take 30%. It's okay. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. God bless you. God bless America. God bless your family. And God bless the world. Stay happy. Stay vigilant. But stay blessed. You know, don't let it get to you. I think we're making a lot of strides. And over all the crazy stuff I talked about today, I do think it's probably like, man, keep your eye out for a weird media story. Because anytime things get too good, something bad always happens, and I don't want it to happen. And it's like, the good thing about now is they're getting caught in so many lies that it's like, it's not going to be easy for them to move forward. And this, like, regardless of if you like Trump or Bernie, I hope people realize that this media matrix breaking life that we live in, that's finally cracking the official narrative of what it was to be left and right on the same line, this is so important. And the fact that Trump and Bernie's movement, not so much him, but the fact that he ran and got people thinking, like, we broke the media matrix, and it's really important. So I wish people gave Trump a little credit for that. They don't, but it's okay. Have a good one, guys. God bless you. I'll be back soon. If not, subscribe to YouTube too, because I do a lot of live streams on there now. I like them both for different reasons, so they're both fun. I'll be back here. I'll be back there. I might make a big video. I'm not sure. I'm going to do a video with Roseanne this week as well. I was on KABC Radio, if you guys listen to that, this week with Cindy Brady from the Brady Bunch, Susan Olsen. Pretty cool. Yeah, life has been very good. I've been busy, but I'm as strong and hopefully as on point as ever. So I'll be back.